good. Okay, we've got a live stream. It's up. Starting the live stream is easier than I make it look. It's really just a couple of clicks. That's about all it takes. All right, welcome. Hey, this is the Meshery development meeting, the one that we have once a week, the one where the host is obligated to tell terrible jokes. And so you're expected to laugh just like you would if you wanted to get an A in a class. You know, the professor tells some funny, super not funny, corny joke, but you're going to have to force a chuckle. You just take air, push it out through your mouth, and kind of go while you do it. That's all you're going to do. It's just a little Go ahead, practice. I know you've all got practice. I know some of you guys like to butter other people, or as we call it here, kiss the rear end, kiss someone's rear end. Okay, I don't see anyone, practicing their chuckle, so I assume everybody's got it. So next joke, everybody's gonna just, no, okay. All right, so on the meeting, we do talk about Meshery development. We talk about the Meshery community. We often review open issues, open pull requests. Sometimes we'll spend a fair bit of time going over upcoming events, like KubeCon EU is next week, and we discuss what it is that the project is doing at that event. Meshery is currently a sandbox project in the CNCF. Considering that it's the sixth highest velocity project, it's really amazing that it's still just a sandbox project. Or I guess the better way of phrasing it is it's amazing that Meshery is moving as quickly as it is, considering that it's just a sandbox project. So that's pretty neat. Again, if you're on the meeting, I'm going to implore you to add your name here and to turn on your webcams, especially if you want to participate in any meaningful way. I don't know if you guys know this, but open source is developed through trust. Trust is built upon relationships. It's kind of a weird thing. Most of us come here to write some code or do something like that, but turns out it's about people. Okay. Just before we get into the announcements, there is one other item that we should cover, and that's just to take a moment to welcome any newcomers that are on the call. So if you're on this call for the first time and you'd like to say hi, now is a great chance just to get to know everybody. Let them get to know you a little bit. So anybody on the call that hasn't gotten a chance to say hi before?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so like last time I attended, but the meeting was shut off a bit early. So this is my first time in the development meeting. So hi everyone. This is Rishikesh, and I'm a second year undergrad, currently focusing on CNCF, and in the meantime, I also do some Linux and system infra stuff. And also, yeah, quite a bit interested in current AI developments. That's it.
Oh, great. Oh, nice. Yeah, where are you calling in from?
I'm from Pune right now.
Okay, good. Is that where school is, or is that where home is?
My home is actually 400 kilometers from Pune. It's where I'm studying right now. Pune is like my college. College.
Cool. So yeah, so no, it's not, and home is
Yeah,
good. 400 kilometers to the east,
yeah, you can say that.
east, southeast, northeast, somewhere
Yeah.
east. All right, great. Okay, yeah, well, nice. Thanks for introducing. That's good. Hrishikesh. Good. By the way, if you guys don't mind, you guys and gals, take a moment to add your last name to the meeting minutes, or not to the meeting minutes, to the Zoom chat. It's just helpful. We've got, just by random example, we have more Adityas than you can count. An ungodly number of Adityas in the 10,000 community members that we have. And so, yeah, list your last name so we know which Yash you are, because we've got about 55,000 Yashes as well. Turns out those are really cool names. Everybody wanted those two names. Okay. Anybody else want to say hi?
Yeah, my name is Linux, and I'm gonna turn my webcam on in a moment. I'm still trying to like set it up on my phone. So I don't know if you would like me to introduce myself properly after my webcam is on, or should be a couple of
Maybe
minutes.
it's to your advantage that it is. Yeah, maybe we'll
Okay,
just as soon as it's working, we'll just signal in Zoom chat if you would, and we'll circle back and
alrighty.
oh nice. Okay. All right. Anybody else here for the first time?
Hi, I'm Omkar from Indore, India. Uh, I graduated from computer science and currently focus on DevOps and cloud native systems and starting contributing. Yeah, that's all.
Oh, nice. All right. Good. Yeah, Omkar. Good. Yeah, thanks for speaking up. Or actually, we had a little bit of a hard time hearing you just then, but yeah, very good. Thanks for saying hi. And you've got an agenda item, so that's great. And you've brought your own document as well. This is great. Okay. And anybody else that wants to say hi?
Hello, am I audible?
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, I'm Prathamesh. So I'm a software developer and I have proficiency in backend. And My proficient language is more on TypeScript. I work more on it, and I have great basics of infrastructure, and I more often do optimization in web applications and more things. On my GitHub, I have more than 300 repos that I have built, and I am constantly building more and more projects. Uh, I have also contributed in previous project in one project which is more than 15,000 GitHub stars, which is in on Next.js Next.js uh, in a GitHub account, but it was an starter template which I found, and I found the bug. I just want to get engaged here too and want to learn more. So thank you for giving this opportunity.
Nice. Oh, very good. Um, excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. All right. We're ready. We're ready for our announcements. We're ready to get going. We've got Mr. Roth Sangram is one of our maintainers, and he wants to talk about, or he doesn't want to, but maybe he has to talk about. Yeah.
It's more of a, have to. That's true. Hey, everyone. So to quickly give you a bit of context, Meshery is participating in something called as a security slam that's been happening for quite some time. It happens during the KubeCons. We did participate last year in KubeCon Europe, and this year it's not an in-person engagement. So it's online, and we're participating as well. So as part of that, we have to make some security improvements to the overall to improve the overall security posture of the Meshery organization and the repositories that are part of the Meshery organization. One of them is that we have to enable two-factor authentication across our organization and the repositories. And as part of this, all of you who contribute will be prompted to enable or activate two-factor authentication when you try to, especially if you are, if you have been added as an organization member to Meshery. Okay. If you are an external collaborator, you might also have some login or authentication issues, or you might be prompted to enable 2FA on your
GitHub mobile apps, kind of use that as an authenticator, right? So yeah, I mean, the intent is to let all of you know that we will soon be enabling two-factor authentication. And, depending on whether you are an org member or at the moment an external collaborator, you might have some user experience issues. We're trying to reduce that as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, one of the important things is that you have to enable 2FA, or you have to go through the two-factor authentication to log into the organization and make changes. For example, if you are an org member, you're trying to make some settings changes, or you're trying to add a secret or variable or things like that, those things will prompt for two-factor authentication. So you basically, I would recommend, if you don't have the GitHub mobile app, to install it. That's pretty well integrated and works well. And that way you get a prompt, just like you do with Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator, if you're familiar with it, to kind of punch in a few numbers and authenticate that that's the one, that you're the right person, right? So yeah, I mean, that's all about the 2FA announcement. Lee, over to you if I missed something then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did anybody have any questions on that? So Meshery, there's two Meshery organizations. This Meshery organization, the main one, has a couple hundred people in it. And some folks have two-factor authentication enabled. As an example, this person does, and this person, and some don't. And so as that gets turned on as a mandatory configuration, to remain a member of the organization, you'll need to turn on 2FA. Pretty straightforward. You guys everybody uses 2FA for all kinds of services already. No big deal. It'd be helpful, Sangram, if you were to send a word out on this mailing list as well.
Sure. I'll do that.
And then Sangram also mentioned Security Slam. And so wonderful. Sangram, I don't know if there's anything else to mention about Security Slam here.
Yeah, sure. I can quickly, take them through. It'll take 5 minutes. I see a lot of topics. If we do have 5 minutes, I can share my screen and quickly go through it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to come back, you think?
Yes, towards the end.
Okay.
I'm here. Sure.
Nice. All right. That brings us to our topics. So moving right along. Well, gosh, is it just Hershey, or do you go by or her?
You can go by anything you want. Like, it's totally up to you.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, you are up first.
Yeah, actually, as discussed yesterday with you, I've authored the issue 18035 to create a guide for complex cloud provider relationship. Actually, I have already pulled a PR about this Azure AKS to AKS hierarchical relationship logic, and I've pulled this issue for that. And I see a bit of interest already on that. Few people have asked if they can be assigned for it.
Hey, Hershey.
But,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
what works really well is if you can take a moment to share your screen, and then for everyone else other than me, they need a little bit of some context as to what you're talking about. So,
yeah, all right. Wait a minute, I'll open the issuance. Yes. Not Meshery. Is my screen visible?
Do you want to go ahead and present, please?
Is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've actually done this, created this issue. So as discussed in the community channel that there was a gap regarding this definition of complex hierarchical relationships for crowd providing models. And I've already pulled a PR for this also. So I've made this issue regarding the stuff, and few people are already interested in this, I see. So I asked Lee if he can assign me to this so I can work on this properly. And also with that itself, I have restored this quick model start. Yeah, I'll just show it here. So I just restored this quick model start. Actually, the quick start guide was accidentally removed during this Jekyll to Yugo migration. So I just went through the history and pulled out it and restored it here. So yeah, I've done this two stuff right now.
Yeah, wait, it wasn't accidentally removed during the Jekyll to Hugo migration. That's not it. Just a point of clarification, just so that Ranok doesn't feel bad. It was prior to that, one of the contributors had revised the page, and previously, and so just to clarify, the history is a little bit difficult to traverse. So for Matthew and Sangram and some others here, it's an important note for us to make that the documentation, has moved from Jekyll to Hugo as the framework that we use. During that transition, because folders were renamed, the docs folder is no longer exactly the same docs folder. It's just a renamed folder. It's still called docs. Anyway, the point is the commit history, I think on all of the doc files, the commit history is there. It's just not as straightforward to go find it as it normally is in GitHub. So there's a jump. So anyway, just on that point, it was both good to clarify where the fact that it didn't go missing, but it's in a different spot, and to let everybody else know. So yeah, so good. So Hershey, do you mind bringing up the former version of that page, the one that you were just mentioning, and let's take a quick look just to see if the info that it has is the right info to restore.
Which one? This one or the
only one that we're talking about? There's only one page that we're talking about.
This. So if I'm on the correct page. Yeah, so
Just because you can't find the web page doesn't mean that we can't hear you. I don't know, it's all right. Take a moment. It's okay.
I think that you have the link to the pull request in the meeting minutes, Doc, in the dev meeting.
Sorry.
The pull request you're looking for is in the doc file of the development mix.
Yeah, I'm sure it's 18035. Talking about. See this.
Okay, yeah, Hershey, pull it up, man. Pull up the page.
Yeah. See.
Is that a tactic that you guys use when the professor's like, "Hey, show me your homework," and you're like, "Oh, I can't hear you."
No, actually, it's my first time attending some kind of meeting, like personally presenting something like this. So just a bit nervous, I guess.
Sure, totally. No, I'm trying to make it unnervous. I'm trying to
like
I'm asking you seriously though, is that a technique that you use to, like, the fact that you can't find the page doesn't mean that we can't hear you. So it just becomes off as dishonest. And that's the one thing here that I absolutely abhor. I can't take it. It's what I started off the meeting with is this whole thing is built on trust, relationships, honesty. Let me pull it up for you. There is some feedback that Hershey was giving yesterday about how challenging it can be to work with relationships and developing new Meshery relationships. He's totally right that we need additional tooling, additional documentation, additional videos. There's some tooling that he wasn't aware of just yet. So part of our challenge is helping ensure that both contributors and users can find the current tooling that we have that help you develop and troubleshoot Meshery relationships. Some of that, so some of that work has to do with enhancing documentation. One of the docs that we have had been revised a while ago by a different contributor, by Zihan. And Zihan generally did some good work with the docs. In this case, we might be missing a little bit of info that we previously had. So the particular document, when we go out to Meshery docs, there's a quick start guide to creating models.
Yeah.
So contributing to models, quick start. This page was originally written a few KubeCons ago as we were holding a contrib fest during during a couple of KubeCons ago. The page didn't quite say this. This is okay. I don't know that it really gets people some of the same info that we had had. So if we try to go back in history, go click on like edit this page. When we go back to the history of the page, and we try to retrieve the older version. This is what I was mentioning a moment ago about, oh, it's not quite in the same location that it was, or it looks like this page is brand new. And in some respects it is. So to find the original, to find that older version is a little more, maybe takes an extra click. Mm, mm. Yeah, the whole thing. It's not entirely just because the file was renamed or something. It said it's in a different location as well. And that's part of why the doc history isn't there. If we were to browse, we'd have to go a little further back in time. Docs. This is something we might want to make a note of somewhere. I think it's going to cause people a little bit of confusion for a little while. Is if you want to browse the history of GitHub for the docs, there's just a few different ways to do it. One way is the way that I'm doing it. And we would then go over and find that particular page. Pages. Guides, maybe guides.
It's in project and contributing, then
Oh, thanks.
contributing to models.
Model components, models, quick start. From here, it looks like this is the same version that we were seeing, but to be able to go back in history, could then take a look at maybe changes just before Zahan had made them. Anyway, not easy to do. One other way of looking at the info that's there, so is to go back in history here. Of course, when you do, we're going to lose our place. Because the hyperlink here will take us to the latest. So from the start, I should have just said, hey, look, you can go back in history, but you can't navigate to it because we don't have the right links in place. Here's the older version of the quick start that, yeah, we should consider whether or not this info is better than what we currently have. So really long way of getting around to it. So Harshikesh, is that the core of what you wanted to talk about, was the restoration of that particular version?
Yeah, you're right.
Cool. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not necessarily. I just wanted to say if I could get assigned on the PRs, I'll be pinning the links afterwards or right now also.
Cool. Sounds good. Guanming, you are up.
Just a bit
Hi.
interruption. Okay.
Okay, I will share my screen. Okay. Okay. So, hi everyone, and so today I'm going to talk about the porting Meshery policy engine from OPA to native Go. And the detailed document is kind of too technical, so I prepare a simple and easy to
Graham,
know.
just we are seeing your notes.
Can you see?
We are seeing no, we are seeing the notes, not the document itself.
Yeah, I sharing this slide. Can you see this slide?
Okay. Yes, it's okay.
Okay. Also, so I prepared this slide to kind of introduce the migration, and I'll walk you through what we did and what we found. And so this is basically a before and after comparison, and we ran both engines against 382 real designs from the catalog to make sure the Go version behave correctly. So let me start with some context and why we decided to do it in first place. And so here are the headline numbers. The Go the Go engine is about 7.7 times faster per design. And if you look at that, the full pipeline is almost 17 times faster. And 49 design give us exactly the same output between the OPA engine, and for the ones that differ, and I researched about that and found that every single difference come from the unknown OPA bug and will introduce later on, and not something wrong with Go. So why bother migration? There's three reasons. First one is OPA just can handle a lot of our design, and 42% of them time out, and I will show it in a demo later. And second, the Rego file are scattered everywhere and really hard to debug when something goes wrong. And the third one is if we want to run this in a browser something, native Go give us a path to WebAssembly. And also one I forgot to mention is OPA needs a lot of transmissive dependency. So it brought a lot of performance down. So let me show you how the two engines are struck differently. So the OP engine has pretty serious problem back right into how it works. Before it even start evaluating, there is some legacy prepares that wipe out all existing relationships. Then when it convert the Rego set to array, it silently drop valid relationship because of how the dedupe inside work. And on top of that, comparing a nested object can blow up combinarily, which is why so many designs timed out or crash. And the Go engine fix all of that and no prepare, so your relationships stay intact. Then no sneaky deduplication dropping things. So everything goes through a clean three-pass pipeline with explicit interface. And inventory additions just go with same policy like RB just suggest me in the document, and I implement it in the first two like other types, and nothing. That is the new pipeline design. So here's the pipeline actually works. The step one, we convert the design and filter which relationship are in scope. And phase one, check the existing relationship and mark that as deleted. And the second place, look for new relationship, and this is also where inventory addition happened, which is in the prepare step in previous OPA engine. And that is in the same code space. So it reused the most of the code in phrase two. And phrase three approved what we found, cleaned up deleted stuff, and applied side effect like syncing conflicts between components. And we have five policy plugged in. And like Lee suggests, we may make it dynamically packed in the future, maybe let it in the future. Yeah. And they will go through the same relationship policy interface. Yeah. And hey,
a question, if I might. A question for you at shoot, I was going to call out the step number, but it is, I guess it's step number 1. Maybe it's on the prior slide. It's just the preparation for performing the evaluation. That preparation involves ensuring that only the relevant relationship definitions are in scope. Is that what number 1 is saying, or is it saying something slightly different?
yeah, it's just like the internal action so inside the pipeline doing, not that the in UI do. Is that your
Gotcha.
question?
Yeah. No, but I mean, close. All right, my thinking isn't with respect to the UI, but just rather what I wanted to confirm is that of the logic that we have that is scoping, intelligently scoping the number of, or how do I say this? When an evaluation occurs, we don't want to have to process all 1,000 something relationship definitions. Like many of them are just not applicable. They're not relevant to this particular evaluation moment because this design only has 3 components from 2 models. That's it. So very lightweight and very quick. I wanted to call out this potential caveat that is maybe a little more difficult to, maybe easy to overlook potentially. That is that so Yash, who's on the call, he's been developing a number of relationships, and we need many, many, many new relationship definitions. When you develop them, some of the relationships, they're broadly applicable and they apply to components that aren't necessarily in the same model. So, when someone defines that relationship, they might use the wildcard, like the asterisk, that character, that wildcard character, to say, well, hey, to implicate many other models and say that these other models with their components can relate to this one. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that there's a little bit of a harder challenge where if the mechanism by which we are selecting and filtering those relationship definitions for that evaluation moment, if we are doing that by only looking at and including relationships that explicitly name the current design's components, we may well be missing out on definitions that implicitly apply to the components inside the design. They weren't explicitly named, but they are implicated through that asterisk. I don't know. And so now that I've said it out loud, I don't know. I'm not sure that it actually matters.
No.
It might matter. It might not. I might need to give a more concrete example.
Yeah, I think maybe do more research about that maybe after the meeting.
Yeah. So let me hit you with it one more time, and that is there any consideration for the wildcard character in the when we're scoping? Are you filtering the relationship definitions here, or are you filtering what Golang policies to include?
I just filtering the relationship here. Yeah, the needed relationship.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me work on formulating that question better. So that yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay, sure. And let me go on. And I think this page is finished. And okay, so I'll start from the evaluation handle flow. And at the handler level, the whole thing runs in the loop. And there is the feature flag that picks which engine to use and which code use Go policy engine. And after each pass, we check if anything changed, like component got added or deleted. If so, we run it again up to 5 times until the design stabilizes. We then return the result. And now let me show you what we found when we test again all catalog design. And we categorized or OPA bugs we found. There is 5 biggest critical OPA issues found. And the biggest one is the timeout and 161 design that are about 42%. They just never finish in OPA. And 51 designs lose their all relationship because of the legacy prepays, and which is I think the unexpected behavior here. And the 40 design have fewer relationship in OPA because Go catches the vetted one that OPA misses. And the 10 design lose the relationship from that set dedupe, and which I mentioned about the record will convert the say to the array, which cause some issue. And a few crash with conflict error. And one design keep the relationship it should have deleted. Yeah. So, and the performance wise, the goal taken about the 55 millisecond on average, and the OPA takes 424 millisecond, and the full pipeline is almost like 17 times faster and use 6 times less memory, because OPA needs a lot of dynamically allocation, dynamically memory allocation. And here is some burden for our server. Yeah. And also we got 0 timeout on crash and go and compared to 161 OPA. And the feature priority, here is some, but I list all in the document and I leave some important one here. And the you can see there is most of the yes in Go wise and OPA. And yes, you can see the chart in the document again. give you the more detailed insight about it. And here is some basic priority here. And you can take a look. And there is some improvement here I list now. And there's Go does and OPA doesn't. And like the self-reference prevention is the big one, which prevent the component creating the relationship with themselves anymore. Yeah, the OPA will create that and get into the infinite recursion. And the match label kept stop things from blowing up when there are too many labels group. And each design got its own timeout too. So the bad design can block everything else. And the deleted relationship actually got cleaned it up properly instead of sticking around, which is causing the memory issue. And the inventory addition are now just a part of the normal identify phrase like Arbit suggests. And there's no special step needed here. So here's a simple demo. And can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is the server run with OPA engine, and you can see there is some component here, but there is no edges between them. But actually, it should look like this. This is run on Go engine, and you can see when I move the component, it can dynamically have the edge connected or disconnected. Yes, this is the small demo to show the same config with the only difference between the usage of the Golang or OPA. And we can see the difference. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's some takeaway. Yeah. If you are interested about the implementation, you can see the implementation in PR 17330. And here's the full migration. And big thanks to the J's detailed review. I have a lot of detailed test implemented. Yeah. And you can use the flag queue scope policy engine to test the new engine on your local machine, and you can run with it. And you can test with the complicated catalog design, and I think it will work great. And yes, that is my today's sharing. And here is some link. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Could you put that pull request and doc links in the chat or in the doc file, please?
Oh, okay. I just have that on the meeting
Okay, thank you.
meeting note. Yeah. Okay.
Do people have feedback or questions? While some of the rest of us are thinking about that, Guanming, I've got a question or two. I popped them into the Zoom chat. I wonder if you might take a look over there.
Take a look. Let me take a look. Are any models or component list in Golang policy? I think not. I just filter by our existing code base. I'm not explicitly listed in our implementation. Yeah. And how is this rule like match set captain at exactly? Oh, the 20 is hard coded, so I think that could be a parameter that we can set by our user in the future, maybe. Yeah. like being configurable. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Only,
Nice.
yeah.
And one other question was, are we selectively loading the Golang policies that we have, or are those perpetually, or are all of them perpetually loaded for each evaluation?
It's load all, I think. And currently, like, have only 5 Go policy here, so I load it all.
Okay. Yeah, good. And then are we able to run evaluations concurrently? Do these go into channels or?
Yeah, I think it could run evaluation concurrently.
And so to clarify, do we currently do that with the implementation that's there, or?
Yeah, it currently do that.
Okay. Is that through channels or is that some other mechanism?
Yeah, it's through channel, I think.
Okay. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, if you could maybe follow up just to confirm for sure what that
No,
mechanism is, whether or not that will get us in trouble or not. To the extent that there's a reevaluation, or to the extent that a user is invoking any number of evaluations repetitively on the same design. We want to make sure that we're
yeah.
not. Yeah. Is there any qualification criteria to a design entering into an evaluation moment, or to the evaluation moment starting, to the first phase starting? Or is that sort of implicit to the phase itself? Like
I'm not really sure the question. Can you explain
is there
more?
are there any gating requirements to an evaluation starting?
Gating requirement. I think that align the Rego 1. So it there's not like qualification criteria, I think.
Okay. 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 Anybody else have questions? No, yeah. Good. Mr. Chu, do you want to talk about what might happen after the success of porting from Rego to Golang? What form factor this might take later?
Form factor. Form factor mean
Or like where the engine might run? So the engine would run inside of Meshery server
yeah,
initially?
the Golang will that will run in the Meshery server, but the OPA will still the default one for now. But we will try to fix the existing OPA engine and maybe make the Golang engine more stable. And after I think a while, we can make the Golang engine default and sunset the OPA one. And maybe in the future we can actually use the WebAssembly to actually gain the speed of the evaluation. And maybe we can implement more features like dynamic loading the policy or make more configurable, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Good. And so for Matthew and Jay, maybe Sangram, or for some of the folks, Yash, that are kind of tracking this area, you want to say that very last part one more time? You said something about WebAssembly.
Yeah. You mean I think current one is kind of slow since the browser one still use the JS package to evaluate the rules. I think maybe we can port the logic or something to WebAssembly, and we can back in the browser to make it more make the speed more faster.
Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Maybe I'll repeat that and add
I
one other. Go ahead.
I will have one question regarding this. WebAssembly, when it come in Kubernetes, I think that it will be easy to port it, but when we will be in Docker, I don't see how we will move it on the Docker Meshery server. It will be already compiled as a WebAssembly and load like that, like a plugin in Meshery, or I'm not really aware of how WebAssembly is working, so it's just how I ask the question here.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, let me field that one if I could. So one of the things that, so guys, sorry, there's a few of you who have agenda items today that we might not get to. Today was intentionally dedicated about half of the meeting to reviewing Guanming's work. So please, if you have agenda items that we don't get to, follow up on in Slack. Record your presentation. You don't have to have a presentation like Guanming did. He had a well-prepared one because he's put in a ton of work and effort to helping port this engine. Yours doesn't have to have that. You can make a recording and drop it into Slack if we missed you, so you don't have to wait a week. I did want to answer Matthew's question and speak a little bit toward what might occur in the future, assuming success with the work that Guanming and Abid have been doing, that as the relationship engine that we have inside of Meshery currently, it runs inside of Meshery server. I don't want to get rid of the comments. Show comments. Where's that hide comments button? Oh, all right. I don't know if this visual is going to help explain it anymore, Matthew, but essentially, what we have happening is that the evaluations that are occurring, they're occurring against a design. So we give Meshery a design document and we say, evaluate these components that are inside of it and how they're configured, and assess whether or not there should be the current relationships that they have should remain, or if what someone has created is incorrect, or maybe there should be more relationships and they're not represented. And so that right now, that process of evaluation, which happens every time that I click this button, it happens as a round trip from the web browser taking the full design document, that JSON or that YAML doc, sending it over to Meshery server, running it through that evaluation process, affirming that the relationships are good, or maybe adding a new one or subtracting one that was there. I mean, just now what happened was I dropped the deployment component, and about a couple of seconds later, all of a sudden the namespace component showed up. That's because of that round trip had occurred. Meshery server responded back with, hey, that design that you gave me that just had one component, a deployment, it doesn't anymore. Now it has two components, and okay, good, great. But if from a user experience, particularly from the perspective that you might be trying to establish a relationship, if like in the moment that you're trying to drag this over and snap it to a different component, if you have to, when I click this, the other components, just then there was a decision made to reduce the opacity of those components, visually indicating, hey, it ain't going to happen. You're not going to, like, there was already client side, a small evaluation that ran a feasibility analysis, an analysis to say, is it even feasible that an edge relationship could occur between these things? If I go from this direction, this one stays lit up. So like we didn't talk to the server in that 8 milliseconds that occurred. But, and so there's some amount of the evaluation engine that's written into this to JavaScript to move this around, and it's invoking like all the time. Like, can this edge relate to the namespace? I guess not. It's not like snapping to it. If I come within range, it snapped over to this one because it's performing that evaluation like every single pixel that my mouse moves. And that's not going all the way back to, you can see this isn't spinning. That's not going all the way back to server side. So when I click and I establish do something, well, my document saves. At the same time, we reevaluate. And that takes a long time, and it's a lot of blah, blah, blah. And so, and it's not just the time and the performance, it's also the, wait a second, you have two engines, if you will, one performing an evaluation here, saying that it's okay, and the other one performing an evaluation over here saying it is okay or it isn't. If I go like this, if I right click on this component, one of the choices is I can take that deployment and bump it out of the namespace. So the UI says, hey, yeah, that's cool. You can do it. Wait. The UI says, hey, that's cool. You can do that. And it shows it to me. And then the backend spins and says, no, that wasn't cool. And they're arguing among the two engines. And it's like, okay, we want to get to a single engine for that reason, to like stop doing double work, we want to get to a single engine on the front end for performance. And so the idea that
Yes.
WebAssembly, yeah.
Okay, now I see where the WebAssembly come from. And yes, it makes sense here. And so the rules themselves will be stored on the server side and load once, I mean, the main rules of the relationships.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, because like at some point, if we are running the evaluation engine in WebAssembly on the front end in the browser, and like how well does that scale? If you said we needed like 1,000 relationships or 2,000 relationships, so you're going to shove all those into here, or like doesn't that need to be dynamically loadable and unloadable? Which Guanming, that's what part of my line of questioning is coming from. How many policies are you trying to evaluate? I think that's what you're getting at, right, Matthew? Is like, wait, but don't relationships get defined and stored inside of a model? Don't you import the model into Meshery server's registry? Aren't all the relationships, wait a second, like how are you? Yeah, so that type of core, yeah. You know. It's like, well, okay, well, what does this have to do with the porting from the use of open policy agent with those rules written in Rego to the use of our own evaluation engine written in Golang? What those challenges, those other challenges that we're talking about, and the fact that you might run in WebAssembly, what does that have to do with the choice of language or whatever? Well, it's easier to, yeah, it does have something to do with the choice of language. We'd have a tough time. The WebAssembly support or that runtime environment support for Rego is incomplete, or it's partial, or they have some support, but not for all of the fundamentals of the language. So it being ported to Golang truly opens up the potential option of having literally the same code, not rewriting two versions of the engine, one for the server, no, the same Golang implementation, just either turned on here. Like it would be like where we need to have a design spec, but basically it would be something like, oh, that evaluation engine is available to you in the server. Maybe you're using the CLI. You want to interact from the CLI to the server. Great. It should be the same one running there doing, what Guangming just demonstrated. Or in the future, maybe the client that you're using isn't the CLI, it's this UI. And in order to facilitate, this interact. So, well, wait, isn't that unfair to the CLI? Like, why does the CLI get an embedded version of it's like, immediately it doesn't have the same UX characteristics that people are expecting as they're typing, that there's a look ahead evaluation occurring or something like that would be sort of the equivalent. People don't have that expectation at the moment. That doesn't mean that one of the ways in which people can gain a lot of value from a tool like Meshery is to just have a single binary for the entire, all the components, all the whole project, like have mesh sync embedded, which is what we have recently, into a single Meshery server binary, which is what we already have, but have mesh sync inside. If you have the evaluation inside, if you just expose a way to interact with it, which is right now a separate client, but if you could just talk to it directly, like, yeah, the whole thing, so the architecture that we have doesn't preclude the ability to put the entire, to bring Meshery CLI and Meshery server together potentially into one, single binary. But that's the kind of a thing that can be potentially, quite helpful.
I
Anyway.
think that it could be, let's say we have a plugin engine inside the CLI, could be easy. So doing the same in the server, so both will load the same binary at startup, and we have the same binary running. It could be an option here.
Yeah, because it's one of the, we were just with Jay and Surya. We were just talking last week about the challenges of trying to make sure that the CLI, well, in this case, I think it was talk to Kubernetes, but it's also having the CLI talk to Meshery server. That was like, can it talk to Kubernetes or can it talk to Meshery server? And actually, if they were one and the same, that sort of goes away. It's just like, you're talking to the server, like, so. Well, good. We're a little bit over time. Actually, we're 6 minutes over time. Super critical item that Guanming and some others have been working on. It's a core part of Meshery's framework. Guanming, it'd be helpful. Thanks for the presentation. Summarize.
Yeah, thanks.
If you don't mind sending that out on the developers at meshery.io, sending that out to the mailing list, it'd be really helpful. Get some extra eyes on there.
Okay, I'll send it after the meeting.
Yeah. That's some fine work. I apologize to some of you who had agenda items today. I encourage you to follow up in the meantime in Slack. So we do have the Meshery contributor certification study hall. I think we've got that on Friday. The newcomers meeting is on Friday as well. We will be meeting next week during KubeCon EU, so we'll still have our meeting here. Did I miss anything? Or did we miss anything? I mean, I didn't really say it. I was just, if you guys aren't impressed with what Guanming is working on, like, then you won't be impressed here if that doesn't get you. Like it's pretty cool. It's complex. And he's only halfway into it. The full complexity of it's not something that we ever wanted to do, write our own eval engine. We always wanted to benefit from, and we still want something, we want to benefit from something like OPA, and we still want to be OPA compatible or OPA. So I'll say this very briefly. Matthew, you were looking at how on Artifact Hub, how to help ensure that we're not getting emails about issues that we have in our Helm chart. And I'm bringing it up as a relevant notion that like Artifact Hub is an open source project. It itself is just an open source project. it as a tool, you can have different policies inside of it. Guess what those policies are written in and use? Open policy agent written in Rego using like it's not that OPA is like the end all be all or something. But what I mean to say is, well, that's convenient and that's nice. And if you're kind of familiar with this, and you can write some authorization rules, let this person do something, and that Meshery as a project would ideally continue to be OPA compatible. And the notion that the term policy that Meshery would support policy as a first-class construct. That the policies that we refer to aren't just policies for evaluating designs, policies for evaluating all kinds of other things. So, okay. Final thoughts? Normally I'd say something like, okay, well, good. We'll see you next week, go off and break a neck. Or, I mean, Jay already did that, but we could.
Yes, no, nothing from my side, but yes, it was a really good job, Guan.
Yeah. Great job. Wonderful. All right. Well, hey, we'll catch everybody back in Slack. We'll see you.